destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66, built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry.
Now.
It's 7 a.m.
It's 7 a.m. Time for the opening drive.
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico.
For 5 years running. It's the OD and the AM with Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bond.
Hangover? Trap game? What are you talking about? What you talking about, Willis? After beating the 22nd ranked team in the country on Friday past and getting ready to go visit the 22nd ranked team in the country Sunday next. Little game with Texas A&M Corpus Christi in the middle. You're worried about looking past them? A hangover? A trap game? Don't worry about it. 100 points, in fact, and a damn near perfect game out of your point guard. What's good, boys and girls? Merry Wednesday. Welcome to the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, thank you for spending your mornings with us right here at 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. How you living?
Good morning.
You all right?
I'm all right.
JJ, you heard right here on the sports animal from Lubbock, Texas. I don't know, about 8 hours ago? What time did you get off the air?
That's what it feels like.
Well, I mean, I think that's what it was, wasn't it? So the game was at 5. So would you get off the air about 8? 9 o'clock there, or 9 o'clock there?
It was 2 hours, so about
2 hours plus post game time. All right. So he was on the air, 11 hours ago from Lubbock, Texas. Got on a bus, came home, got up early this morning. Appreciate you coming in. Thank you for coming.
Here
to work.
we are.
Thank you for coming to work this morning. How was the trip? I mean, aside from obviously the Lubbock women lost 75-68 to Texas Tech, but we're in it the whole night.
Yeah, it's smooth sailing, first road trip of the season for the team, so that it checked all the boxes of what you want to see, other than finding a way to get one of these wins.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Meanwhile, the Lobo men were winners last night. The numbers at the pit last night, 100-81, and the numbers somewhat tell the story as they somewhat normally do, but then you start looking a little bit deeper and you go, wow. Donovan Dent had 25 points, 10 assists, and 0 turnovers. From what I understand, JJ, this is the first time in the history of this program somebody had 25 and 10 with no turnovers. The ball's in his hand all night. And I heard him on the post-game show, and he talked a little bit about his family got on him a bit. Donnie had 9 turnovers in the UCLA game. Now, I called that game. They weren't all his fault. Some certainly were. But they weren't all his fault. It was passes where he thought a guy was going one way or the other way and whatever. But that's a special night, dude. 25, 10, and 0. The first Lobo to ever post 25 and 10 with no turnovers. I don't know. You know how I feel about when you start getting into it's never happened before territory. It's one thing
pretty impressive.
Yeah, when you start telling me about the black and white days and Babe Ruth days and that kind of stuff, I'm impressed. The nevers before are pretty interesting.
Yeah, 25 points, 10 assists, no turnovers, and it just highlights, Donovan Dent is one of the best drivers and creators when it comes to kind of the classic true point guard in college basketball.
Yeah. Now, I guess the initial stat sheet did have Donovan Dent with 1 turnover, and it was an error. It was at the 5:36 mark of the second half that he was charged with a technical foul that was during a dead ball. And the Lobos had possession. Texas A&M Corpus Christi shot 2 free throws from the technical, and the possession remained with the Lobos, so there was no turnover. If that would have been his turnover, getting the technical foul and the ball changing. So that was I heard Bob Clark talking about it this morning on his show. But there's the stat systems and it's the same ones that the pros use. So the computer's got safeguards against mistakes and can't allow a team to score points if they don't have possession. So if they never gained possession, how are they scoring points? The stat crew entered the turnover on Dent, and after the game, the initial stat sheets were distributed, and it was changed to a team turnover, even though there was no turnover at all, if that makes any sense to you. So that's how that goes. JJ, the other thing, and I really am starting to like the backup point guard and got to speak with him a little bit on this trip. Cade Dotson was really good. And I told you, when Donnie went down in the UCLA game with about 7:50 to go in the second half, you had to go to a backup point guard, and he's a freshman. And Cade Dotson came off the bench, and I thought it was 2.5 minutes, but I thought they were really valuable minutes. They were high-pressure minutes, high-profile minutes. Last night, he played almost 15 minutes, did Cade Dotson, and he had 18 points on 6 of 7 shooting. He had 3 assists and 1 turnover. And look, you're going to need at some point, and especially, look, I'm not telling you Donovan Dent's going to get hurt, but he's playing on a knee that's obviously an issue, right? I mean, there's obviously an issue with whatever's going on that caused him to come out of the UCLA game. Valuable minutes for that young man.
Absolutely, and it's growth, and it's what you expect as the season goes on. If you talk about some warts on a basketball team, that doesn't mean that that's the way it's going to be the rest of the year. And this was a quick, big step up for Dotson last night in terms of minutes played, but he hit some shots and got a lot of confidence from 3 of 4 from 3, and you're looking for a little bit of that scoring punch off the bench. Was able to bring that. He'll continue to grow and understand being a ball creator, being a guy that can handle calming things down when Donovan Dent's not on the floor. And this is what you wanted, is you had the big step up in competition against UCLA. All right, what are you going to do? Turn around back home against an opponent that you should beat and beat handily, and they were able to do that with contributions from multiple players off the bench.
Yeah, and I think that's really big. Nelly Jr. Joseph was in foul trouble. Now he still had 10 points, most of them late in the game, but that meant Ali Atiki got to play, and he played 20.5 minutes, 9 points and 5 rebounds for Atiki. That means Ibrahima Sakho played almost 14 minutes, 3 points off the bench. Minutes that you're going to need from guys down the stretch. Look, as good as Nelly is, he can't go 40. And
he got in foul trouble last night, so that's why he was on the bench.
Yeah, that's what I said. He was in foul trouble, and that's why. But it's okay, right? In a game like this, give me an opportunity to get some guys some time, and to get Atiki 20 minutes, to get Sakho 14 minutes. I think is a big deal, and it's going to be a big deal down the line. Now it's not like Sakho is a freshman or anything. I mean, he's played, but to play with this club, to get time in there, and I spent a lot of time with Hunter Green, the former Lobo great, over the weekend, and we talked some hoops, and you and I have talked about this too. Just because you got a bunch of talent on the floor doesn't mean you're great, right? And that's why you see teams get better as seasons go on. You can practice, you can run pickup games, you can run scrimmages, whatever. There's nothing like playing games and getting a rhythm and getting to know each other. And JJ, we've watched, the Milwaukee Bucks. Look at the collection of talent the Milwaukee Bucks have, right? And for whatever reason, they can't figure it out. And more and more time you get, I think is going to be more and more valuable down the road.
There's coaches love practice because it's the thing you get to do more than anything else. But to take a step forward, you have to have those game situations. You have to have the game minutes because you can't stop a game. You can't be like, hey, let's run it back. Like, you have to be able to execute under pressure with something on the line, and you see that early in the season. And I think for this Lobo team, there's going to be a lot of by committee games. And you're going to look at, CJ Nolan and probably Dotson as having kind of specific roles off the bench as guards, but then you look at could it be an Applehawn's game where he steps up, hits a couple shots? Is it going to be Sacco coming in just for his rebounding? Because I think that's what we're going to see is ebbs and flows just based on the opponent, because the Lobos have the ability to do that. And you look at someone too that in the starting lineup that's probably still trying to figure out how to fit in, and that's Philip.
100-81 was the number. Philip Borovic in 13 and a half minutes last night, and he'll figure it out too. And I told you, one thing I really like about Borovic, and I think you're going to see this against more really athletic teams. You might even see it against St. John's this weekend. I was impressed with his ability, JJ, to guard the perimeter. He's long. I think he's quick. And I was impressed with his length on the perimeter. I thought he bothered UCLA's guards on the perimeter on Saturday or on Friday night. And let's look, if you can get a long guard to disrupt things on the perimeter, that's a big deal. What's been one of the biggest issues of the last 2 years in regards to Lobo basketball? It's been the size on their perimeter defense, right? I mean, as much as Jalen House and Jamal Mashburn, I won't say a bad thing about them. They were terrific. They were unbelievable for this program. But they were small. And to get bigger on the perimeter, I thought was a big deal. By the way, did you see, this came down literally as we were starting the broadcast on Friday, Jalen House made the G League roster for the Clippers.
Yes.
He's playing for the San Diego Clippers. And by the way, saying San Diego Clippers, for some of us of a certain age or a certain ilk and certain remembrance, it kind of sounds a bit nostalgic. All right. If you were at the pit last night, want your thoughts, 505-246-0610. A little bit later, we'll hear what Richard Pitino had to say after the game on Donovan Dent and the style of the game. Next up, they're going to Madison Square Garden. In fact, Richard Pitino will be with us tomorrow, live here on the opening drive, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, before they head back east to play Rick Pitino and St. John's. So Richard will be with us tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. Make your plans to be with us here on The Sports Animal. Want to hear from you if you were there. 505-246-0610 is how to get here. Area code 505-246-0610. That's The Sports Animal's phone line and our text line. Your emails come in this morning, Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. JJ, that's JJ, at sportsanimalabq.com. On the X, it's _JJ Buck. And we are on the Facebook. You can watch the show there. Adrian's producing on ProView Networks on our Facebook page, The OD in the AM. The OD in the AM. Or you can watch on Xfinity Channel 26 throughout the state of New Mexico and the YouTube channel for ProView Networks. When we get back, Champions Classic last night. I want to hear about the Lobo women's basketball game. Kind of a classic with Kentucky and Duke, the second one. And sometimes as good as a freshman is still a freshman. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal.
Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Got shots?
The 81 in the pit over TAMU Corpus Christi. That's Texas A&M University. Ladies, we're in Texas. Beautiful. You get to explore Lubbock. They got beat 75-68. You get a little outside, or we're just around like whatever Marriott property you're staying at?
Just still right there on campus.
Yeah. I hear the campus is awesome.
Campus, nice, clean architecture.
Yeah.
Very interesting, nice to look at. A lot just in that area. It's a very good campus.
Yeah. All right. College hoops underway. I always think the Champions Classic, and full disclosure, right? I work for ESPN as the executive director of the Atlanta New Mexico Bowl. They own it, and we own the Champions Classic. So full disclosure on that. But I always think that's kind of almost like the symbolic. We're underway with basketball. Every year, and it was in Atlanta this year, but it's been in Madison Square Garden. It's been in Chicago, Indianapolis, Washington, D.C. It's every year. That is Duke, Kansas, Kentucky, Michigan State in some semblance of 2 games. And that always says to me, all right, we're underway, right? Is that fair?
Yeah, it's usually like the second week of the season, and you get that big moment.
Yeah, it's a big one. The champions last night, Kentucky beat Duke 77-62, and Kansas beat Michigan State 77-69. Cooper Flagg is going to be the guy who everybody looks at. He's 17 years old. He's going to be probably the first pick in next year's draft. He was a guy at the Olympic trials who wowed all the best in the world, right? But wow, damn, that guy's unbelievable. And he's something else. Yesterday, they went to him with the game on the line, and he had a couple turnovers. I mean, as good as you are, as good as you're going to be, sometimes, man, a freshman in a big situation is still, like, the other guys are really, really good too. And that's what happened. And I guess he's having just huge cramping issues, which they're trying to figure out, like, why is this guy cramping so much? They're dealing with the training staff. But he played 19 of the game's first 20 minutes. He had 13, 10, and half. The Duke was that was the first game, and he cramped against Army, but it happened again yesterday. I don't know what yesterday tells you, JJ. Kentucky under Mark Pope is going to be really interesting to watch, right?
It's a big statement early in the season because they were down 10 points in the second half. To come back against a really good opponent, shows the toughness, and a game that it got a little ugly, a little sloppy in that second half, and you check that box, and you'll definitely take that for Kentucky.
Kind of interesting watching Lamont Butler as a Kentucky Wildcat. No, the former San Diego State star that we've seen, he hit the big shot in the pit a couple of years ago, hit the gigantic shot in the Final Four that put San Diego State into the final. Just a legend at San Diego State. And you recall in the offseason, he got into the portal and reportedly got paid. He started for Kentucky at point guard, played 24 minutes for the Wildcats, had 4 assists, 2 turnovers, and 9 points. He's not a great scorer, but I'll tell you what, he'll control a game for you. And he's a calm presence. He's been in the Final Four. He's played in the national championship game. I don't know that he puts them over the top, but I will tell you I think he is a real calming presence for a team and a program that's going to go through a little bit of a transition with a new head coach, certainly with a bunch of young recruits, as Kentucky always has. But it's like, whoa, that's Lamont Butler in a Kentucky uniform. Like I was telling you, when you see Scottie Pippen in a Mavericks uniform, right, you kind of take a double take. I mean, it feels like Lamont Butler had been at San Diego State forever, right?
Nice little ride for the Butler with the Aztecs. That's what you do. Get an opportunity in the portal, get a little paycheck, and a new opportunity, and it's not a bad one at all with Kentucky.
Cooper Flagg, meanwhile, 26 points. He led everybody for Duke in the loss to Kentucky. Duke was ranked 6th. Kentucky was ranked 19th, if that matters to you. Cooper Flagg, 26 and 12, but he did have the 3 turnovers. And Kentucky beat Kansas. The other one was, Kentucky beat Duke. Kansas is the other one. They won 77-69, beat Michigan State. So we are off and running. Mountain West scores last night. And look, this is the time of year where you're always kind of watching, all right, what's everybody in the league doing? Where are big wins coming from? Where are the opportunities? What's happening? Nothing really monumental last night. Colorado State 74-65 over Denver up in Fort Collins last night. Boise State beat something called Corbin College. Do you know what that is? I mean, usually I've heard of these.
Three, maybe? Who knows?
Corban, Corbin College. Boise State scored 50 points in each half and won 100-65. Omar Stanley had 15 and 13 for the Broncos. And San Diego State rolled Occidental. They were up 54-17 at halftime. The final was 100-49. My phone was going nuts. Like they're up 16-0. They're up 18-0. I'm like, you guys got to leave me alone. You forget I'm one of those.
This is one of those games where this should happen.
Yeah, I'm at an event. Like I'm not participating in your little session. So, opportunities will start coming like tonight. Wyoming plays Texas Tech in the building that you were in last night. Wyoming will be there, and then of course, you know the Lobos get that opportunity on Sunday at Madison Square Garden. Saturday, Colorado State plays Ole Miss in Mississippi. And Nevada's home, they will get Santa Clara in the Lawler Event Center. I feel like Santa Clara plays every Mountain West team.
Maybe hinting at something in the future.
I mean, really? Yeah, they get Fresno State, New Mexico. I guess that's it. I guess because I saw them the other night against Arizona State. And then they may play, right? The Lobos may get them. Is that right? No. I'm sorry. That's US. That's SC
St. Mary's.
Or St. Mary's or Arizona State. Or they get Arizona State. They get St. Mary's or USC. All right. So that's what happened last night. Did you catch any of? Well, you didn't. You were on the. Did you get reception on the bus? Did you catch any of the NBA in-season tournament last night?
I mostly watched the Lobo game.
Yeah. They were nice last night. It was a good victory for them last night. NBA in the tournament, the in-season tournament. Interesting stuff last night. Warriors beat the Mavs last night.
With Miami lost that game?
I did not see how Miami lost that game.
So they're playing Detroit.
Yeah.
On the road.
Yeah.
Pistons tie the game with a layup about 1.2 seconds left. A frustrated Eric Spoelstra charges out there onto the court, calling timeout. Like, oh, come on. Didn't have any timeouts left.
Is that right? 2 technical free throws.
And the camera immediately panned to Jalen Rose, who was in attendance.
Who was Chris Webber's teammate on the Fab Four.
And
or Fab Five.
Jalen was giving a face like, ooh. And the Pistons hit the free throws and win the game.
Is that right? Was Jalen Rose on the commentary?
No, he was just
there.
Of course,
because he's a former Piston too. And of course, he was on that Fab Five team when Chris Webber infamously called the timeout in the NCAA championship game when he did not have a timeout to call in the NCAA championship game, and yeah, that's how that went. All right, 505-246-0610. The college football playoff standings are out. The rankings are out. Everybody's losing their mind, man. Why don't they just make the rankings the same as the seeding? Stop it, man. It's really not that hard. And I understand that everybody's got to have something to complain about. And if you have a microphone in front of your face, that you've got to be able to complain. But it really isn't that hard. I'll walk you through it, help you understand what's going on. What?
I tell you, a team outside the autonomous 4 is never going to get higher than 12.
And JJ explained why. And look, I think he's wrong, but the evidence certainly is supporting him because you keep winning and you keep falling. We'll get into that when we come back and who may play where. Hey, it's busy times, right? I get it. Busy times are upon us. You got family coming over, Thanksgiving. You want to make sure your car looks clean, fresh. I want to recommend my friends over at On the Spot Automotive Detailing. They were awarded best in the city because they are best in the city. They take the time, they take the care to make your car look and feel and smell like it's brand new. And the best part about this, I mean, it's pretty damn nice when your car looks and feels and smells new. They come to you. They bring their mobile unit to you. You don't go to them. I don't know where they are. They know where I am. Really, that's what matters, right? They come to your office. They come to your home, wherever it works for you. You don't have time. They take the time for you. No need to leave the comfort of your home or work. And your car will be left looking like the day you took it off the lot. It's one of your biggest investments. You're probably going to have it for a while. You might as well take care of it. Ask them about paint protection film. Get a coat of wax. Take care of your vehicle. And it's a great gift. As we get into gift-giving season, you're always looking, what should I do? That person does so much for me. What would they really? Everybody will love this. I've given it as gifts. It hits every single time. On the Spot Automotive Detailing is one of my favorite things to do. It will be yours as well. Call On the Spot Automotive Detailing today or just book online. It's all right there. OTSdetailing.com. It's OTSdetailing.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up.
New college football playoff rankings are out. They'll change again. They'll change a number of times. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. Thank you for being with us this morning on 95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal. All right, so I'm driving in this morning, and I'm listening to one of the national shows, and it's just complaining. Why don't they just make it simple? Why isn't the number one ranked team the number one seed, and why is it number two, and it really isn't that hard. Okay, the committee is ranking teams. They're ranking teams by their criteria. Now, the number one or two, well, number one will be the number one seed, but after that, not necessarily. The seeding because maybe it's hard because it's new, right? Maybe because we've never seen it before, and maybe that is why it is so difficult for some people to understand. But it really isn't. The top 5 ranked conference champions will receive a berth into the 12-team field, okay? The top 4 ranked conference champions will receive first-round byes and will be seeded 1, 2, 3, and 4. After that, everybody else will be seeded by the rankings. Why is it so hard? JJ, I know if you have a mic in front of your face, your job is to complain, right? A lot of people believe that. Is it that hard?
It's not easy for a fan.
Okay, but for a radio host? Figure it out.
No, okay. But you're asking why do people feel this way?
Yeah.
And it's because these numbers do not equate the playoff rankings.
Which numbers?
So, like, you can be the 2 or 3 seed.
Right.
2 or 3, but you're not the 2 or 3 seed.
Right.
So that's just...
The number 3 seed right now is the number 6 ranked team. The number 4 seed right now is the number 5.
So you have to explain it. It is not as simple as, hey, let's pull up the rankings and see how they're slotted.
By the way,
instead of complaining, you could just describe that.
There's a real chance the number 14 seed is SMU. They could be the 4 seed. The 14th ranked team right now could be the 4 seed. Or, JJ, I know this. You don't think this could happen, and you're probably right. What if SMU wins the ACC championship game? SMU currently is ranked 14th in the poll. Okay, that is behind Boise State. If Boise State and SMU win their conference championship, who gets the bye? They're going to jump. They'll jump the ACC team over Boise State.
I believe they will, and I think it's going to get interesting with the potential one-loss teams. When you look at it in Indiana, into BYU, I think that's an opportunity for
both undefeated,
the 2-loss SEC teams to jump a 1-loss team when they start evaluating strength of schedule and using the eye test. Will things come in? But it's still fun. There is the element of you have a committee ranking these teams, so there's not a perfect system. There's never going to be a perfect system when you're trying to slot this many teams into a bracket. But it's 12. It gets people going. This is what we wanted to see.
So people are already losing their mind about the team or teams who will be left out. And currently, Georgia, who is ranked 12th, would be left out. Well, how can that be, Jeff? There's 12 slots. Because Boise State is ranked 13th, and they are projected to be the Mountain West champion and the highest ranked Group of 5 champion, thus guaranteed a spot and would be the 12 seed. Well, Georgia people are losing their mind prematurely already, never mind that they've lost twice and could lose again this week. But that's where this whole, why do we have to let one of them in, is going to come. And by the way, Boise State's only loss is on the road on a last-second field goal of the number 1 team in the nation. Right? Now, who else do they beat, Jeff? They barely got by Nevada. I get it. But already the Georgia people, the SMU people, the A&M people are losing their mind. I told you, look, you can go from 4 to 12 and maybe to 14. There's always going to be somebody who's crying. I mean, we have 68 teams in the NCAA tournament. How often do we hear I got robbed by 69,
yeah,
70,
I don't think
71?
Georgia thought they'd be in this position to be the ones crying
right
at this point in time.
Yep. Look, if they lose this weekend in Tennessee, there's going to be no crying to be had. I mean, it's, but they'll still tell you they're better than Boise State. Mike, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Mike.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for taking my call. This whole college football breakdown of the 12, the playoff seeding, I think it's kind of absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at this, like, for example, this just came out today, the number 4 seed, Miami. They just got whooped by Georgia Tech. And, the game was 23-28, right? But when you look back at it, I watched the game. They got beat pretty good.
Yep.
Miami is definitely not the number 4 team in the nation. Like, nowhere near. And when you really put it all up there and looking at that loss and looking at Georgia Tech's record, I don't even think Miami's really worthy of being into the playoff. I'm a Notre Dame fan, and I know for sure that if projecting Notre Dame like 8 or 9, that's a little high for us. I think I think that BYU winning out and winning their conference should certainly be higher than a 12 seed. But
they will be. But they will be. Mike, they will be. If BYU wins out and wins their conference, they will be, because they're going to be the Big 10 champ, the Big 12 champ, and they're going to get a 3 or 4 seed. They will be. Whether or not they're ranked higher, they will be seeded higher.
See, and I think I agree with that, actually,
Well, it's
because
the truth.
especially if they go undefeated.
Well, it's not debatable, Mike. So the top 4 seeds are going to be conference champions. So whether they're seeded 12th or second, if they are one of the top 4 seeded conference champions, they will get a first round bye.
As I think they should, and I think that it's clear. But I think undoubtedly we're going to see some 3-loss SEC teams in there. Thanks for taking my call, guys. Have a great day.
No, later. So the Miami thing is interesting, and so they're projected as the 4th seed because the committee Well, are they projected or are they seeded? I don't think that.
See?
No. I'm looking at something because I think the committee doesn't project. They're seeding. Everybody else is projecting. Okay, so the projections are, and I think it's done because of the seeding, that Miami will still win the SEC. Miami closes out by playing Wake and Syracuse. Okay, now the standings in the SEC or in the ACC matter. There may only be one team out of the Atlantic Coast Conference that gets in. Army and Tulane. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong place. SMU is still undefeated. If SMU beats Miami in the ACC championship game, if they get there, because Miami's got 1 loss and Clemson's got 1 loss. SMU hasn't lost yet in the ACC. Then SMU is going to get that bye. SMU doesn't have to play Miami or Clemson. They got Boston College, Virginia, and Cal left. SMU may run the table. So, JJ, who gets in? And I don't even know the answer. I guess it would be Miami because they're ranked higher. That's how they would break it, right? They don't play Clemson. That's why these leagues are so big. You don't play each other.
I know. That's why sooner rather than later they're going to get rid of the conference champion aspect of it.
They might. Yeah, they might. But who gets into the ACC championship? So if SMU beats Miami there, then SMU gets that bye. It would be something if we had SMU and BYU both have a bye. Wasn't that the New Mexico Bowl 2 seasons ago? Oh, Jeff, you're the curse of New Mexico. Really?
You play in the New Mexico Bowl and you get to the college football playoff.
Wouldn't it be something that if the 2 teams from 2 seasons ago both have a bye? It's not out of the realm of possibility. Yeah, it's I get it, man. It's new, and hence the confusion. So the newness of it is a bit. It'll all work its way up. But like Mike's saying, that's probably what's going to happen. No. They will be above BYU. I'm sorry, BYU will be above Notre Dame if they win. That's how it is. The conference champions. So the first 4 out right now are Georgia, SMU. Look out for Colorado, man. Look out for Colorado. They play Kansas still. Their best win is Texas Tech. But they're lurking as well. Wouldn't it be something if they get in? I mean, and right now Boise State said, I don't even know, JJ, who, if Boise State loses, who do we think is the next ranked, or would be the next ranked Army? It would be Army.
Yeah, it'd be Army. It'd
be Army. Yeah. Boy, that'd be something too. The country's got to be rooting for Army, don't you think? All right, 505-246-0610. I hope that makes sense for you. But that is what the college football playoff standings look like and what they mean. But yeah, people are already complaining, man. We're better than them. We have this at 4 and 5 and 6. You have this at 68, 69, 70, and you're going to have it at 12, 13, and 14. It's just the way this thing is going to go. Hey, it was an event yesterday at the Albuquerque Convention Center. It was spectacular because every event that I go to at the Albuquerque Convention Center is spectacular. The food was great. The service was great. The place is beautiful. It was clean. It's everything you want it to be. It was another one of those events that you wanted to be at. If you're looking to host an event, I don't care how big it is, 10 people or 20,000, Albuquerque Convention Center is your spot, and they will accommodate you. The ideal event venue right in the heart of downtown Albuquerque. Diverse spaces, They'll accommodate anything imaginable, from intimate meetings and gatherings to grand expos and conferences. Their staff, their service, their food and beverage options go above and beyond. Your dream event becomes reality. If you are still planning your holiday party, I'll bet they can accommodate you. Call them. Be at the center of it all. It is the Albuquerque Convention Center. We do events there every year for the Isleta New Mexico Bowl because they take care of our guests. We need that. And you do too. So go there, Albuquerque Convention Center. AlbuquerqueCC.com is the website. AlbuquerqueCC.com, and then go on, give them a call. 505-768-4575. 505-768-4575. It's the Albuquerque Convention Center. Be at the center of it all.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM.
The Sports Animal.
You get a little action tonight? It's opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. 505-246-0610. That's how to get here. Kent State, the only team without a win in America still. They play tonight. They're 29.5-point dogs to Miami of Ohio. You can get that if you want it. Akron, Northern Illinois, Eastern Michigan, and Ohio. A little action for you tonight. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, 505-246-0610. Hey, I don't know if you've seen this too, and then we'll go to the phones. You check out what Jamal Mashburn's doing at Temple. He's off to a start now. The Owls are 3-0. They beat Drexel on Tuesday. Mash has played 3 games. He scored 26 in the opener against Sacred Heart, 10 of 16 shooting the ball well. They played Monmouth on Friday. He scored 25 on 10 of 15 shooting and hit 3 threes in that game, 5 threes in the first game. And then had 20 points against Drexel last night in their win and 5 of 15, 4 assists. So Mash is averaging, what is that, 71 points. What's 71 divided by 3? A lot? 20-something, probably about 23 points. That's pretty good. He's off to a good start. Hey, Travis, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Thanks for holding. What's up, Travis?
Good morning, fella.
Greetings. How you living?
Hey, living great. So Mashburn's college average is better than Bronny James' college average. Does that mean Mash is going to go in the first round also?
No. Mash's daddy isn't playing anymore, although Mash's daddy was pretty good. He's not Braun. Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah. No, really excited for Mash. And, I mean, once a Lobo, always a Lobo. And so, obviously, our community is continuing to root for that kid, except if he ends up playing the Lobos. Then, hey, listen.
Yeah.
No love lost.
Yeah.
So, but no, this is a really exciting time, for Lobo athletics. Lobo football is playing consequential games in November, games that matter, games that are going to, mean something or could potentially mean something for, some postseason bowl activities. So we're really excited about that, and obviously we haven't seen that around here in a really, really long time. I saw a stat after that game over the weekend. If I remember it correctly, I think this Lobo team 1 year, less than one full season into Coach Mendenhall's tenure, has won more games in the Mountain West Conference in the last 3 years combined.
That's correct. I think they hit the number. Yeah, I think they hit the number, Jay. Isn't that right? Like what they won this year, the 3 games, what they won combined over the last 3. Yeah.
Yeah, great stuff. Really, really great stuff. But, Lobo basketball, what an exciting game last night. A lot of fun. Nelly's stats really stuck out to me. The kid spent most of the time on the bench and comes in and almost averages a double-double when they're feeding him the ball at the end of the game. They were definitely trying to get him that last rebound. But one of the things going into this season, we really thought, I think we all expect this team to be pretty good offensively. But losing House, losing his energy on defense, I think we were probably all a little concerned about how things would go on the defensive end, and they don't seem like they have lost a step. And in fact, team defensive-wise, they seem to have gotten a lot better, and probably a lot of that has to do with their size. But just the intensity alone, this team really is bringing it. I mean, there was a stretch there in the first half after Texas A&M Corpus Christi had gone on a bit of a run and were obviously keeping the game close. They couldn't inbound the ball for 2, 3, 4 minutes. And they could not break the Lobo press. And so, just steal after steal after steal, and Lobos went on a 10-0 run there before a timeout got called. But that is probably the most impressive part to me, is that there is no drop-off in team defense. It's gotten a lot better, in my view. Donovan Dent has turned into a heck of a defensive player, and this team is so much bigger, especially when they go to the bench, in the post that I don't think we're going to see what happened with us in Clemson last year. Anyway, really excited about how things go, and this defense is going to keep this team in a lot of games, even if Nolan and Amzir are having some shooting woes. But great stuff.
Thanks, man. Oh, I appreciate you. So, a couple things. I do think they're better defensively, and numbers don't always tell the story. They 81 last night, 81 in the opener, right? So I think they're giving up 75-plus points a game, which is going to come down a bit. But I think when they got into a game where they needed to play defense against UCLA, and I'll say this again, I think defense won them the game against UCLA. So, yeah, they're defending better.
It did.
Don't you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the length is there. It's when you play up tempo, you play higher possession games, you're going to have higher scoring games like this. So it might sound odd at times to be like, oh yeah, this defense is really good, and you're giving up 80 points per game. But it's about the overall style of play and what you're able to do in those moments defensively.
Yeah. All right, keep them coming at 505-246-0610. That's where your texts are coming in this morning. Mud says, I think it's going to be a holy war championship for college football. SMU and BYU. Wouldn't that be something? Did we see that game 2 years ago? It was a pretty good game, wasn't it? Went down to a 2-point conversion in 22 degrees, right? Be a pretty good one. Would we get a little love on the broadcast, though? These two teams faced off 2 years ago.
I'm sure you could send an email to someone.
Yeah, I might know someone there. All right. 505-246-0610. You can get into the NBA if you want. Last night you had the preseason tournament getting going. Aaron Rodgers spoke on the Pat McAfee show. Patience. He's a beauty. Patience. Take your time. We're okay. Okay. 505-246-0610. And Dan Campbell said Jared Goff is doing what? It's quarterback? It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, thank you for being with us this morning on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in
one. That's the second best record in the country during that time span against non-conference opponents, second only to Purdue. To whom did they lose? Do you remember? Because I don't, honestly. They went undefeated last year in non-conference. Didn't they drop a game where? Oh, it was St. Mary's. It was St. Mary's last year, right? Yeah, it was on the road last year. St. Mary's. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. JJ was on the road with the ladies last night. Got back late last night. Got to work. Appreciate it. I know you're sleepy. You get a nap today, or
at some point?
Yeah,
you'd be nice.
Yeah. 75-68, Texas Tech over the women. JJ, Donovan Dent last night, the first player in UNM history to have a 25-point, 10-assist game and not have a turnover. It was the fifth time in history a Louisville player has had a 25-10 game with points and assists. Last time was Kendall Williams, 29-10 in 2013 against UAB in Charleston Classic. Kendall Williams in 2013. That would be 11 years ago. Dent's third career 10-assist, no-turnover game, which sets a new UNM record. It had been done twice before, once by Marlon Palmer and once by Daryl McGee. Big night for Donnie last night. And it was, you could tell in the post-game show listening to him, and I don't know if you heard that, after 9 turnovers against UCLA, turnovers was a big deal to him.
Of course. This starting point guard that's one of the best guards in the nation. You see that number 9, and even if you look at it and go, oh, these 3 or 4, it's actually not on Donovan. It goes to the point guard. It's just one of those things in the stat sheet and everything from that UCLA game too. With him having friends on UCLA, feeling like he was overlooked, didn't get the opportunity, the family aspect of it, but to play the way he did, get that win, and then come back, have a performance like he did last night. You're watching one of the best guards in the entire country, and listening to Hunter Green last night on the broadcast, he's going, why are people guarding Donovan Dent? Lay off him. I'm like, well, if you lay off him, he'll blow by you too. Mm-hmm. So there's really no way to keep this guy in front of you right now.
He's the first Mountain West player to go 25-10 and no turnovers since Marvell Harris did it for Fresno State in the pit against UNM back in 2016. The 22 turnovers that UNM forced, was it 20? Here, I got the stat sheet against UCLA. Was it 24 against UCLA? They forced 21 against UCLA. So 21 and 22. So it's the first time in the Pitino era where the Lobos have forced at least 20 turnovers in consecutive games. It's a good win. It was a nice win. I get it. They beat a nice team out of the Southland, and but sandwiched between those two games.
Scored 100 points.
Look.
You're in control from start to finish. This is exactly what you need to do coming off a big win.
To me, this is the sign of a really good team. Okay? I get it. We're 3 games in. But you've got one that is impressive, and you're going to say, the naysayers, UCLA's not that good. We'll see. Maybe they are. Maybe they are. I don't know. All I know is the talent that's at UCLA is really, really good. And is everything that you could have wanted. Sandwiched in between those two games, you know what that showed me? That's a really mature team. Because it would not have been out of the realm, and like I said to you yesterday, JJ, it wouldn't have been surprised to me if they were down by 5 midway through the first half, right? I mean, it just wouldn't have. Now, it was close early. It was 9-9 at the first media timeout. Then they went on a 17-2 run and were up 24-11 midway through the first half, and they grew it to 33-14, and they were in control the whole way. That's a sign to me of a really mature team that realized they had work to do and didn't overlook anything, didn't start thinking about the trip to New York, although they were thinking about it. Coming, because it would have been natural. If they'd have won this game by 8 points and cruised and had a little trouble and had a little stress to it, you said, well, whatever, man. UCLA last week, St. John's next week, Corpus Christi stuffed in between that. Yeah, I get it. And that, to me, that's really impressive to me.
Yes, these are the signs you want to see of a good basketball team, of a team that understands who they are, what's at stake overall. You're at home, you're big favorites, go out there, and they handled the game. And it might have been close to moments. You score 100 points, you beat a team by 19. Corpus Christi never really had a chance to win this game, even a few moments where there's a drought, maybe it got down to single digits. You were always in control. And for New Mexico was the fact that you were able to do that, especially in the second half, with minutes off the bench. Like Nelly Jr. Joseph scored 10 points, but he was put back in the game just so he didn't have a 0
right
on the stat sheet and points with the foul trouble.
And then he got 10.
Then all of a sudden he was up to 10 points. What Cade Dotson, a freshman guard, did off the bench. It was a good game overall for the Lobos.
And then turnovers are only 14. So 0 turnovers is kind of the big story. JJ, that will be your audible word for the day. Omaha! Omaha! Check! Your sports animal audible word for the day is 0. 0, as in 0 turnovers for Donovan Dent last night. So when you listen to Two Men On this afternoon, they're on from 4 to 7 here on The Sports Animal, and they call for, hey, what is the Sports Animal audible word for the day? And you got a chance to win prizes. You will say, hey, I know what that word is, and you will be whatever caller they call for, and you will call in and say, I know the word. It is 0, Z-E-R-O. You all right with that word? As we play a little theme game today? All right. 505-246-0610. Is that it? 0 will be the word for the day. I know I teased all the NFL stuff, and we'll do that since I burned this whole segment basically talking about Lobos men's basketball, but I think that's a big deal. I wrote something else down. What did I write? As far as Lobos men's basketball last night. Oh, that's what it was. 15 points for True Washington. Can I tell you? So we're deep into this thing, and we haven't talked about him. He is going to be that dude that is that unsung dude all year, isn't he? He's going to be this consistent glue dude. He gave you 31 minutes last night. He gave you 15 points, pulled down 5 rebounds, turned the ball over once. Plays defense. He's going to end up being one of your favorite players if he isn't already.
So that I think from the outside you can say that, but when your head coach says that he feels you should be the defensive player of the year, I don't think you're an unsung hero.
So I think that's right from the inside. I think as Lobo fan, I mean, look, I've talked to, and we get him. Has anybody mentioned True Washington? Did anybody mention him the other day? Coming off the UCLA game, well, Borovicinen's going to do this, and Atiki's going to do this, and of course, Nelly and Dent, and I love the freshman, and Amseel's going to hit shots. No,
well, I think it's also you expect him to be that guy, even like right now.
Well, he's a sophomore, and I'm okay. He's vital. He is vital. Like he is. Glue isn't the right word for this, but maybe it is. But just being around it and watching his aura and watching him play defense. And yeah, I mean, he'll score. And last night he scored 15 points. He didn't stuff the stat sheet against UCLA, but he was essential defensively. 15 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, turned over the ball once and had 2 steals in 31 minutes and played defense all night. True Washington's going to be a big, big piece of what you do. All right, when we get back, I want to get into the NFL a little bit. And I want to get into what Aaron Rodgers preached yesterday about patience, what Dan Campbell said about his quarterback with the Detroit Lions. NFL season starts tomorrow with an interesting one. We'll get into that. The NFL week starts tomorrow, and we'll get into that with an interesting one next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All In Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company.
Calling a totally different game, and then all the other referees came to that referee's kind of style, and by the end of the game they were calling them at like the 15-second mark.
Yeah, away from the ball.
Crazy?
Yeah, away from the ball. Like, what are we doing, man?
It took 30 minutes to play the last 7 minutes of the game because of that.
Yeah.
30 minutes. Anyway, it was a good game. I wanted to talk about True Washington. You mentioned it, and I remember at the beginning of the season, there was a discussion as to whether or not he was going to be able to become a shooter, and I think we've seen that question answered pretty soundly. And when you have someone like him in the lineup who also becomes a shooting threat, along with Amsil and Dent, like it's amazing how one person can help blow open on offense. I guess that's what I'm getting at. And True over the last couple games is he's fun to watch. He's energy, and watching him make the baskets and totally opening up the rest of the offense because he becomes a threat, and he's also good on defense. I think that's going to be a really key piece to us moving forward in the success that we're going to have. And the last thing I wanted to say is, I don't know if it's me, but Atiki looks like he's grown just in ability over the last 3 games quite a bit. Maybe it's just a confidence thing, but I thought he looked really good last night. Obviously, competition taken into consideration, but I thought he looked really good last night coming in under the circumstances that he did.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you. I think on Atiki, I don't really have a reference point to start with. Has he grown? I like the way he plays.
Yeah, I think for him, this is such an easy offense to fit into when you're playing opposite Donovan Dent. Because Dent's going to draw the defensive attention, and he's a guy that he's not going to post up and dribble and try to go over this shoulder or that shoulder. He wants to get the ball on the move, going to the basket, and Dent is going to do that for you.
Yeah. All right, let's hit some NFL. Yesterday, it came out that the Chicago Bears fired Shane Waldron, their offensive coordinator. He took the hit for the Bears' offense not being very good. That's how this goes, man. It's not, it's sure as hell not going to be the number one quarterback taken in the draft. It's probably not going to be the head coach, at least not to begin with. So it's the offensive coordinator. In New York, where Aaron Rodgers plays, it was the head coach. He got whacked, and then the new guy moved around the staff on the offense, and Nathaniel Hackett was no longer calling plays in New York. So Aaron Rodgers was on the Pat McAfee show yesterday on ESPN, talking about the firing of Shane Waldron in Chicago and some of the other stuff. Quote, unfortunately, that's the nature of our league right now. Its coaches and play callers on both sides of the ball aren't making it through the season. There's just not a lot of patience anymore in the league. It's, get this guy out of here. Unfortunately, that happens. And I really mean this, is a lot of it rinse and repeat under the guise of brand new scheme, brand new approach. And that's the way the league is too often. There's not the patience to go, I believe, in X, this person, this scheme, this coordinator, this player. And we're going to weather these storms because it's going to make us mentally tough group or mentally tough person. And we're going to get behind these people. And this is, I don't care what you have to say outside the building, this is what we're going to do. End quote. Interesting to me. Now, there's a little bit of truth in what he says, but it's interesting that he's preaching patience.
This is like everything that just happened with your team this year.
100%.
You're like, well, this is what's wrong with the league. That's exactly what the team that you're on just did. And I'm sure if you didn't want them to do that, that wouldn't have happened.
Well, I think when you look at what happened with his team, did it help? Did they get better?
No.
They beat the Texans, but they just got run out of Arizona. Like literally just run out of the belt. I agree with him that there's not a lot of patience. I agree with him that sometimes some of these moves I think are knee-jerk and premature. But by the same token, when things aren't going well, what's the definition of insanity, right? At some point, you've got to make moves. You got to shake it up. If you keep doing something and you've got an 8-9 week sample size, it's kind of who you are. And if who you are isn't who you need to be, then you need to do something differently. Or if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll always be who you've always been, right? So there's a fine line somewhere. And I would like to believe, and maybe I'm not right on this, but JJ, I'd like to believe each situation is its own. If a coach isn't working, if it's an offensive coordinator, I got to make a move. If I look at, let's just say, I don't know, the Raiders situation, man, it's not working because you're not getting the most out of Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. I'm going to fire my coach. Well, okay, we got a problem. Right? If I look at the Jets situation, and I still believe Aaron Rodgers is that dude, even though personally I don't. But if I'm the ownership or the GM and I think Aaron Rodgers is that dude and we're not getting something done, I got to make a move. Okay? And that's what they did. If I drafted a quarterback number 1 overall and I'm watching the number 2 guy be who he is, and I firmly believe my guy's better than the number 2 guy because that's why I picked my guy over the number 2 guy, then I'm making a move at offensive. Like, I understand why these moves are made. Do I believe sometimes they're premature? I do. But at the same token, you got to do something.
Well, it's it gets into it where people are already saying, "Okay, Williams isn't that guy. He can't be any good." That's what's hard is because it's the immediate gratification. Like we have to know the answer now, and it's not just a fan thing. It's the way the NFL reacts to it, as you just laid out. I think the Bears, though, it's an organizational issue, man. This is the 3rd time they've done this. Like you can't have a lukewarm coach be the one that takes over the franchise guy. And
meaning lukewarm, what do you mean?
Like where you're like, are we going to?
Oh, that you're not
Matt
committed. You're not
Eberflus
committed.
around?
Yeah.
Oh, well, let's give him the opportunity with Caleb Williams. No, you have to. If you're bringing in top 10 pick at quarterback, you need to reset.
Let alone the number one overall.
It's a guy that we know, like a franchise that is established and they just happen to have a down year, but you still trust everything. Like when it's this, like they set themselves up for failure in this from the beginning. And now as you try to drag out of it, you're going to have a new offensive coordinator in the offseason. You have these questions around Caleb Williams. And I think it's crazy the story that came out yesterday too, that did players really go and say we need to bench Caleb Williams? If that's the case,
to play Tyson Bagent,
like what are you guys doing together? What does Caleb Williams need to do to step up? What as veterans do you need to do to help him out? It's a mess in Chicago.
Yeah, and I don't know who cleans that up. It's a really, I know we keep throwing Belichick around. That's a really interesting spot for him. Because that's going to be a no BS guy who's going to go in there. Or Vrabel. I think Vrabel goes in there too and takes control. I look at that. There's a lot of pieces there, dude. Their defense should be pretty good, right? It was pretty good.
Yeah, you take out, some of the veteran pieces, and still they paid Sweat after acquiring him last year. The deadline, they had some good cornerback play. Johnson is one of the top guys in the league, and however you feel about Keenan Allen, okay, you still move forward with DJ Moore and Rome Odunze.
That's right. You got a good tight end. I agree with you, and your line is decent. You can get better there, and you got to still believe in Caleb Williams. Like here, I'll tell you one of the biggest things that's hurting Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, right? They look at the number 2 guy because now the last 2 years, the guy taken second in the draft has had a really good rookie season, right? The last 2 seasons, the guy taken second in the draft has helped turn a franchise. And to your point with a rookie coach, I think it's really interesting how you phrase that, because both last year with C.J. Stroud, right? That was DeMeco Ryans' first year, correct? Or no, it was his second year, wasn't it? It was his second year. So, but they were committed to that coach. Dan Quinn, first year in Washington, they're committed to this coach. Where, to your point, when Matt Eberflus in Chicago, maybe let's see what he does. Let's get him a new quarterback. So you're right. I agree with you on that point. But the last 2 seasons, the second overall pick in the draft has taken a franchise that was not good the year before, and last year won a division title, and this year's got them contending for a division title.
And I think the patience point is, can you see past the immediate moment?
And you being who?
Like ownership.
Yeah.
So, all right, your number 1 pick's off to a rough start. Does that mean 8 games into the season is broken and it can never work?
No.
Because you saw it with Carolina last year. They fired their head coach. What does that do for your rookie quarterback?
I know.
It's terrible. So you have to have the patience, even if things aren't going well early on, because you see these guys that spark, it doesn't mean that because it's not happening now for Caleb Williams, it's not going to happen. I think there's a much different conversation to have with Bryce Young just based on his kind of size and athleticism. But you're seeing the last 2 weeks, this guy just won 2 NFL games, and he was making solid throws. And it just goes back to how long can you actually trust a process and let it play out. So I do think what Aaron Rodgers was saying, that there's a lot to it. You have to be bought into something longer than 9 weeks. But for him to say it when that's exactly what his franchise has gone through is a little LOL, because we know that he's a puppet master.
Well, and yeah, because he had a lot to say, whether he says it or not, in the firing of Robert Saleh. I mean, they weren't going to fire Robert Saleh if he went there. Is Aaron Rodgers there next year? Is he the Jets quarterback next year? If they continue on their trajectory, they're, I believe, 3-7, right? So there's 7 games left. Let's say they win 3 of them. I'll give them. So if they finish 6-11, is he the quarterback next year?
If he wants to keep playing football, yes.
Are they committed to him next year? I know
yes,
it was.
They are.
So it was a 3-year deal or 2-year with a player option for the third. So for whatever reason, I thought it was a 2-year deal, $50-something million a year, which, by the way, at that time was a big deal. Remember? Can they be good with him? Colin Cowherd made a really good point yesterday, and I was listening to this as I was driving around. Rodgers is a good quarterback. He's hard to get along with. Players are better when they leave him, except for Davante Adams. Now, when Davante Adams has come to him, he pointed out, you look at the young receivers in Green Bay. When he left, they got better. Davante Adams is not better when he's come over from the Raiders, but it's a small sample size. It's interesting. Does he make teams better?
Yes, he did. Now it's a lot different conversation when you're looking at a 41-year-old quarterback
coming off an Achilles.
Just is not hitting that same level.
Yeah.
Like when you watch Aaron Rodgers play, the name is always like it's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be able to reset the expectations. But this honestly should be like Russell Wilson, like where you can come in, make plays. We're not going to win because this is your Aaron Rodgers, but we can be effective in the system. But it's still that mindset of, well, it's Aaron Rodgers. Of course it's going to be good. He's going to make the plays. No, he can't be that guy. It's evident. Like the creativity you're seeing out of these other offenses, it's not there. It's still just not a lot of motion. Snap, let me try to make a play. And he ain't that dude anymore at 41.
Kind of what I'm saying, man. I mean, if I'm the Jets, do I want him back? Do I have an out, or am I obligated if he wants to come back?
He's under. It's not like a void or unrestricted free agent year. Like he's under contract.
So the only way to get out is
next
if he
season,
retires.
and it would just be: is Aaron Rodgers willing to be a point guard and not like the guy?
I mean, what do you think?
Right. And to this point, we haven't seen any of that development in that offense. It's just still, all right, there's Davante Adams, Garrett Wilson. So like drop back and try to make a play versus creativity, motion. You have dudes that should work in that offense, but it's that guy that's not making those decisions.
Dude, this has been a colossal failure. I mean, they've spent a lot of money on Aaron Rodgers, $50+ million a year. Turned over their whole franchise to Aaron Rodgers. They got 4 snaps in year 1. They've got 3 wins in year 2. They're a disaster. I don't know who you think is the most disappointing team in that league. I don't know, as you go through it, and you can, if you want to think Dallas is, okay, that's fine. If you want to think Cincinnati is, I don't think that's right, but okay. If you want to tell me, I mean, whoever you think the most disappointing team in that league is, it's got to be them, right?
Yes.
That's 2 years in a row. It's a disaster. They turned the whole thing over, all your hopes, every Jet fan, finally we got our guy. You don't. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and the AM 610, the Sports Animal.
So that earlier crash on Sir and Southern Boulevard has been cleared. We still have that crash.
The following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gala Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies. past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space, and you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop.
I am Michael Azera, midfielder for New Mexico United. Clark's support for the United is an example of their commitment to local partnerships. Clark's understands that paying it forward develops a better team and ultimately better community partner.
When you need pet food and supplies,
Clark's is always the best shot.
Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations.
Go United!
ClarksPets.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, taint, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView.
Feel that teams, I don't know, it's just the way it is. Somebody's got to take the hit, right? When it's not going well, when you think you're playing well or you should be better, somebody's got to take the hit. But I'm going to tell you, when we look back on this Aaron Rodgers experiment in New York with the Jets, it's going to end up being one of the worst. I don't even moves. It put their franchise on ice for 2 to 3 to maybe 4 years. And with all the excitement, and you can say it was because of an Achilles injury. You might be right. We'll never know. You might be right because of the Achilles, the excitement that was there. But at some point, Zay didn't know the answer to this yesterday when I asked him, who's the only person undefeated? It's Father Time. And at some point, it was going to catch up to him. But JJ put their franchise on ice for 2, 3, however many years. Like, what are they going to do? What's their plan if he's not there next year? Now, they're going to draft high. But what's the plan? Dan, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Dan.
Hey, fellas, how you doing?
Good, how you
I don't
doing?
know if you remember, I called in about 2 years ago when the Jets got this guy, and I told you guys, Aaron Rodgers is a palooka.
Yeah.
And that's it. He's a straight-out palooka. He takes his teammates, he throws them away, he alienates everybody, he alienates the coach. He did everything he did to those Jets. He destroyed the New York Jets is what he did. And the Jets were stupid to get him. A 41-year-old, a 40-year-old quarterback with a busted hamstring, and you're putting money into this, and you think this guy's going to take you somewhere? He never proved it in Green Bay, and he's not proving it with the Jets. And again, I think it was a big disaster, and I'll say it till I'm dead. Aaron Rodgers is a palooka, fellas. And that's all I got. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you. That's tomorrow's word, by the way, palooka. Today's audible word was zero. When they ask for it, when you're listening to Two Men On this afternoon, they ask you for your audible. It's zero, but tomorrow I got a word for you. He was 38, 39 when he went over there. He didn't have a busted Achilles at that point. He did blow his Achilles out in his fourth snap. But it's I don't know, man, when you look back on this one, and I don't know who's to blame, right? If you were the Jets, Dan says there's no way they should have done it, and he's a palooka, and I knew it. I don't know. If you were the Jets, what were you dealing with at that point?
Yeah,
you were dealing with Zach Wilson. You had an opportunity, right?
This is one that we will look and say this didn't work. I don't think this is a decision that I go, wow.
What the hell were they doing?
That was terrible. Some people will say that, like Dan, from the beginning.
Yeah.
He saw it writing on the wall.
And
this
he's
was
right.
going to be
okay.
Terrible. But just from moves we've seen franchises make, this isn't one like everyone was out of their minds. Why would you do that type of move?
And it was coming on the heels of what Tom Brady had just done in Tampa Bay, right? A veteran quarterback on the back end, changing scenery from where he'd been for his whole career. Now, look, Tom Brady had way more team success than Aaron Rodgers ever had. And then Tom Brady, at 40 whatever years old he was, went down there and won a Super Bowl with his new franchise. And so the Jets figured, okay, there's the recipe. I told you it should have been Tampa Bay because it's where, people go to retire. They go to Florida for crying out loud.
And Tampa is happy. They got Baker Mayfield.
Seriously. No, seriously. I mean, maybe that's just where you go and you find the sunshine and you find the fountain of youth. Maybe it's just sitting there in the Tampa Bay, right? But whatever. And Dan did call it. He did say it 2 years ago, and I do remember the call. But to your point, I understand why they did what they did. What they did, I mean, it somewhat made sense at the time. It's just not happening. All right, Jared Goff had 5 interceptions last week in Houston, and his team won. His head coach is Dan Campbell, talking about his quarterback. He said Goff is, quote, doing exactly what we're asking him to do. He said the lack of ill-advised throws leaves him with no concern about his quarterback. He said none. Everybody's going to think we're crazy. You're going to think I'm crazy. I'm telling you, he didn't play a bad game. He played a pretty good game. You know why I said that? Because they won.
Yeah, because Houston fell over themselves in the second half. And Detroit found a way to win a game where your quarterback throws 5 interceptions.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to take the sample size of 8 as opposed to the sample size of 1.
I agree with that.
Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like
But that's one of the, that's Dan Campbell, man. That's who he is. Like Jared Goff didn't play a good game, but they won. But that game is not who he's been the last years for the Lions.
And in large respect, they won because he came back and played well at the back end of the game. Jared Goff did. Like he was able to recover from not playing well. And give me that dude. Give me a mature guy because did you know what he did before that? He didn't even throw. Not only was he not throwing interceptions, dude threw like 6 incomplete passes in the 2 games prior, right?
Yes.
So give me the sample size of 8 as opposed to the one bad game. Whoa, Jeff, who do you do it against? I don't know. The Packers, the Titans are a really good defense. They put 52 on a really good defense. They put 31 on the Vikings, a really good defense. Scored 47 on the Cowboys, 42 on the Seahawks. Give me the sample size of the whole season as opposed to having me lose my mind over one bad game. And by the way, a bad game in which they won. I mean, it's pretty easy for me.
I agree.
And for him to say, we played a good, fine. You know why he played a good game? Because they won. And because the back end of the game, he actually was pretty good. Yeah, he turned the ball over a lot early. You go, what the hell's wrong with Jared Goff? Dude had a bad game. I mean, right? LeBron's had games where he shot, 20%, right? Sometimes you have a bad night. I'm not throwing that guy away. Hey, have you ever been the victim of a home or business break-in? It's a bad night. It's a bad day. You know too well it takes hours, if not days, for police to respond. Just not enough police officers to cover all the calls. That's why I call IPS. I literally looked at my security camera. It buzzed a few minutes ago, and IPS was outside my house. They come by every day. They patrol my home, keep things safe. You see them everywhere in your neighborhood, at retail outlets. It is affordable private security that is protecting what you worked hard to build, your home, your business, your family. IPS has standing guards. If you need eyes on your property around the clock, they install alarms, camera systems. They've got a state-of-the-art facility. They monitor those cameras 24/7. It raises the level of security around your home or business. So who's watching your home when you're not there? Make sure it's the good guys. A quick response to your alarm, standing guards at your business. This is what IPS does, and you sleep better at night. They understand you cannot prevent all crime. But if you got no protection, you're much more likely to be victimized. Don't wait to be a victim. Call them at 505-897-2420. Area code 505-897-2420. They're online at ipsglobal.com. Passionate about making Albuquerque and Santa Fe better and safer places to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight? No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated,
Rip,
plastered,
taint,
destroyed, destroyed, brah. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
What's going on? Who are you guys?
Well, sir, I'm going to pick you up at the DWI checkpoint for drunk driving.
And that's when I have to come down to get you out of jail.
Well, temporarily. I'm Judge Torres. They call him the Hammer. Hey, hot off the presses, champ.
I'm real proud of you, honey.
Way to make them happy back home, Captain. Who's that? That's your new buddy in jail.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own.
I don't know, the rich get richer, huh? They may get Juju Smith-Schuster back this week as well. They got DeAndre Hopkins. They got dudes who can block kicks.
Yeah, it's pretty good for the Chiefs.
Yeah, they're in a really good spot. They're in a really, really, really good spot, obviously, being undefeated. John's in on True Washington, Lobo guard. It says, hey, guys, watching True over the past couple of days, early watching True over the last couple of games, early Lamont Long comes to my mind. Before Lamont became an all-time great, he was the behind the spotlight, getting the point and rebounds the teams needed without getting the attention, and that's exactly what True is, and that's really exciting. I'd love to see Donovan here next year, but if he keeps this up, he's going to be getting paid more than NIL money next year. I'm just so impressed with this team. We have the depth in all areas. We have size. We have talent. It's really awesome that our starting post had a bad game and still almost finished with a double-double. I'm waiting for Boro to start producing. I think his time is coming, but everywhere else is just great. It's from John. It says, have a good day. I think Borovichinen is going to be fine. I like him defensively. He may not give you a bunch of points. And again, producing doesn't just mean filling the stat sheet with numbers, and that's where the True Washington conversation comes in. Although he did have 15 points last night, Borovichinen gave you, 13-plus points last night. And again, I think he's going to be fine. I think you're deep enough where you're going to have a Borovichinen night. You may even have a Milicevic night. You're going to have a Sacco night. You're going to have an Atiki night. You're going to have C.J. Nolan nights. I think you're deep enough where it's going to be Donovan, Denton, Nelly, Jr., Joseph on a regular basis, and then Cade Dotson last night, C.J. Nolan one night, True Washington one night, Borovichinen one. I think Borovichinen
will be the unsung hero of this. Like, True is too good to just be a guy that isn't. He's the number 3.
Fair.
Like, he's
that's right.
The defense fact he'll take on the best perimeter player on the other team. What you're getting from him offensively, Borovichinen will be the guy that there's going to be games where if you're not like looking intently at it, you're probably going to be like, did he do anything? Like, yeah, but his role isn't to be out there, scoring double-digit points every night. It's be long on the perimeter, grab some rebounds, only grabbed one last night in 13 minutes, and fit in.
All right, we'll hear from Richard Pitino when we come back, what he had to say in the postgame show. Drake May against the Rams or Jameis Winston against the Saints this week? What do you like? I need a quarterback.
It's Winston season because it goes good, bad, for another good game.
I got that guy on my roster who told me to pick up last week. So it's the opening drive. Richard Pitino, some sound next on the opening drive. On 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety.
Indy Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indy Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Big night at the pit last night. Level men's basketball with a win. They are 3-0 on the season. They have lost just one time in non-conference play in the last two seasons plus 3 games. Second best record in the country, second just to Purdue, who's undefeated. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. You're welcome to get in today at 505-246-0610. Donovan Dent last night, 25 points and 10 assists. He did not have a turnover. The 5th overall 25-10 game in UNM history, right? 25-10 assists. First since Kendall Williams had 29 and 10 against UAB in 2013. And first time it's ever been done with no turnovers. A great night for Donovan Dent. 505-246-0610. If you want to play radio with us today, you're welcome to. Emails Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com. And JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. And JJ, we're going to hear from some of what Richard Pitino had to say after the game. This is courtesy of UNM Sports Radio Network and the conversation that Richard Pitino had with Robert Portnoy and Hunter Green after the game. And the first question, obviously, I mean, damn, Donovan Dent was pretty damn good tonight, wasn't he?
So good at getting to the rim, an elite level passer, as good of a passing point guard as you'll see in the country. And our guys are doing a really good job of understanding that he's looking for him, and did a good job of getting the foul line as well. So we are certainly very happy to have him.
You think? We are certainly happy to have him. JJ, look. I don't know where he is in the country. I haven't seen everybody play. I was courtside 2 nights ago against UCLA, or 4 nights, whatever it was, against UCLA. They've got elite athletes, right? They get their pick of the crop. They opted to recruit some of these guys over Donovan Dent. Donovan Dent was the best player on the floor that night.
Yes, he was. And the Lobos looked like they had the best duo of a ranked team going up against UCLA.
Yeah, we'll see how he does against St. John's. They're going to go back east and a big one coming up on Sunday morning. So the style of the game, they went up and down. Lobos had 62 shots. They scored 31 points off of turnovers. It was an up and down game, and obviously with 100 points, you're moving a little bit. How was Richard Pitino on the style of this game last night?
Obviously, the fouls was a major issue. What I did like was we cut down our turnovers. Obviously, Mustafa had 4, CJ had 3, but the rest of them, we didn't have as many as the last game, which was good. I thought it'd be a foul fest because they're very, very aggressive, and I don't think they necessarily are worried about that part of it. The defense at times was good, but it needs to be better in the second half for sure. They were just ducking their head and driving. Got to the foul line, everybody did, but I think turning them over was really good as well.
Yeah, a lot of free throws last night. The Lobos shot 39 free throws. The Islanders shot 35 free throws. I mean, that's a game, dude. That's why the game lasted 2 hours and 14 minutes, and the end of it took a long time. It was a chop fest for a little bit, but muck it up, and some of the advantages of being deep.
Yes, it is. Use your size, your athleticism. Now it got to both teams with a game like that, and that's also the challenge of college basketball. The men's format with this is if you have a lot of early fouls, you can be sitting there 10, 11 minutes where you're shooting the bonus. So,
and make your free throws. Last night, Lobos were 25 of 39 from the free throw line, 64%. They need to get better at the free throw line. They do. It was a little bit of an issue both of the first two games. 10 of 14 for Donovan Dent, which is a lot better than he did in Vegas the other night. 5 of 6 for Mustafa Amsil, but Nelly was 0 for 3, and Atiki was 1 for 3. So get your big guys shooting free throws, and I think you're going to be okay. How about three-point shooting? And I don't think this team is going to be one that just relies on it. They took 23 threes last night, 9 out of 23, which equates to just over 39% from three-point land last night. Cade Dotson was impressive. And JJ, we've been saying, who's the sniper? I'm not sure a sample size of one makes me think he is the guy. He made some shots last night. Mustafa Amsil 1 for 5. I do believe he'll warm up. Nobody besides Dotson made more than 1 3, but here's Richard Pitino on the three-point shooting of his Lobos last night.
I don't coach three-point shooting as much as the media thinks. If you're open, shoot it. I didn't tell them the first game to shoot it every time. I didn't tell them last game to not shoot it. I want confident basketball players out there. And I thought CJ and True and even Mustafa had some really good looks. So we work on a lot. We shoot a lot. So I believe that we will continue to shoot the basketball.
Now, I got to believe that they're going to get better. JJ, what last year told me is about this time last year, everybody was saying, well, Amsil's not very good, and he's not a very good shooter. And by the end of the year, he was sixth man of the year in a very good league, and he was making three-point shots. So I believe that he'll warm up. I'd love to find a sniper. Maybe he's the guy. If this team has one concern for me right now, and let's see what we feel coming out of Sunday, it's there isn't just that dude who's going to shoot you through a game.
Yeah, is there someone that is going to get hot shooting-wise? Dent can create and score, but that was one of the things that was really impressive about Jalen House. You can have one of those games where he's hitting at you from every spot on the floor. And that's why, looking at this team, I felt that this year's squad was capable of and probably lean into more of a defensive style. You can still score a lot of points in basketball games without shooting a ton of threes, but that comes down to your aggressiveness and then the pace you play with.
Yeah. All right, they're deep. 5 dudes off the bench had double-digit minutes last night. 2 more, Quentin Webb and Jovan Milicevic also played. He played 12 dudes last night. Really kind of a rotation of 10 last night. Somewhat due in part to foul trouble for Nelly Jr. Joseph and others. He said he wants to go deep. Here's Richard Pitino last night on the minutes that he was able to get to his bench players.
Atiki first game played like 4 minutes. I think he was kind of like, I didn't come here to play 4 minutes. And I'm like, listen, Nelly's playing his butt off. At some point, there's going to be foul trouble. You have to be ready. Played a little bit more last game versus UCLA. But a great spark, blocked shots. They were ducking their head and just going to the rim. We got to be able to block shots. And we got to be able to go to the bench. That was a very, very choppy game, obviously. But I thought those guys off the bench, obviously Cade was terrific. Atiki was terrific as well. CJ will knock down shots. He did some other things really well as well, 3 steals as well.
I didn't come here to play 4 minutes, Coach. Listen, Nelly's playing his butt off. Is that how that went?
Yes.
It might have. Listen, Nelly's playing his butt off. You'll
got potential all-conference forward, so realize the rotation.
It'll be fun to watch it as it evolves. And it's November basketball. You're going to see a lot of each box score is going to look a little bit different, right? When you start getting into mid-January, February, the box scores tend to look similar as far as minutes distribution and things like that. and the rotation will tighten. And guys are going to get minutes, and guys are going to not. You're going to have injuries. You're going to have foul trouble. Whatever it happens to be. But this is one of those games where you look at it, and it was choppy, man. And it was foul trouble. Again, the Lobos were called for, 26 fouls. The Islanders, 28. I mean, it's like, what are we doing? Right? 54 fouls. So dudes are going to play. All in all, an impressive game. And impressive not just because you beat Texas A&M Corpus Christi, but because a game that could have been a trap game, a game that could have been one of those where, oh my goodness, what happened, right? It'd be sandwiched between 22nd ranked UCLA last week, the now 22nd ranked team, St. John's, next week, and in between you come home and play a team that probably these dudes didn't even know who they were, Texas A&M Corpus Christi. I thought it was good. Text line 505-246-0610. The Lobos were in a very disruptive game last night. As I was watching, I wondered if this was going to be the game they needed before St. John's. After sleeping on it and reading Grammer stories, I came to the conclusion that this was exactly what they needed. Corpus wasn't the talent they'll face, but they were disruptive to UNM's style of play. The foul situation gave many players good minutes. The Lobos had to overcome foul trouble and an extremely poorly officiated game. They're garden ready. Appreciate the text. I didn't watch it. I was at an event last night. I'm not going to lie. I didn't watch it close enough. Was it poorly officiated? Or was it just a hack fest? I honestly don't know. This one says, we'll get back into this. When we come back, we'll get back into some of your stuff on the Bears and the Jets. We're open for you for business. We got the NFL stuff is there for you. We have college football playoff standings open for you. And Lobo basketball last night at 505-246-0610. Thank you for spending your morning with us. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh? I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom. Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom. Boom.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All In Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I like Jameis Winston this weekend.
Do you?
Because it goes good, bad, and so he's prime for good. Because you get the 3-touchdown game, and all right, he's going to come out and throw 3 interceptions. And the Gunslinger will be back. Good matchup. It's a poor defense. Winston pushing the football down the field. Let's go.
All right. 505-246-0610, opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and J.J. Buck. We were talking about the NFL and the Jets and the Bears. Text line says, talent is a reflection, not a projection. What if the Jets and the Bears actually have less talent than we think? Way less. It's from Mike. What if? I don't know. It's interesting. It's a reflection, not a projection. Or is results a reflection, not a projection? Is results a reflection of the talent? I guess I would then say the talent is a reflection. Can you have a lot of talent and not be very good? You can be, right?
Yes. Again, I think the Jets are a team that they're not the most talented team, but you don't think an offense with foundational pieces, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Breece Hall, should only be able to score 6 points in the game and should be this bad at creating any consistency.
So, are those two rosters really talented, or are they maybe projected talented but not really talented? I look at, I know I keep going back to the Milwaukee Bucks, but I'm like, dude, it's a different sport, and I understand. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Dame Lillard, Chris Middleton.
Chris Middleton hasn't played in like a year and a half.
Okay, but look at the rest of them. Like, they're 3-8, dude. There's talent there, right?
Oh, and you have Giannis, MVP, an NBA champion.
I mean, they're 3-8. So I don't know if that's a fair comparison to the Jets and or the Bears. I mean, do you think those two rosters are talented?
Yes.
I think so too. So
I think some of the deficiencies are at the most important areas, and it's the offensive line for both teams.
This one says the Jets' disaster status is the result of the team being a dumpster fire, not merely a Rodgers being bad performance-wise. Not throwing away one Jared Goff, are you, Jeff? I recall a recent incident where the accusatory you asked if the Lions should tell Jared Goff to hit the road. How fickle. inconsistent and as governed by the latest wind in public opinion is the annoyingly meaningless view of the sports talk host, the sports talk show host media you, whatever that means. Did I ever say throw Jared Goff away?
No. You know what's annoying is the fact that you never listen and or change your opinion and then accuse everyone on the air that's having a conversation about
yeah, dude doesn't like me, and I'm cool with
doing just
that.
that.
But when did I ever once
No,
say...
you've been on the Jared Goff bandwagon
the whole time, right?
a while.
Yeah. And didn't I just say I'm not going to let the sample size of one overturn what I saw in a sample size of 8? Like, when did I ever once say
You
throw
didn't, man.
Jared...
It's fine.
Yeah, okay.
It's the annoying texter to text the annoying host.
I shouldn't have
read says we don't listen or think about any conversations we have, yet that person doesn't seem to listen to anything we say.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And certainly if you say something that person doesn't believe, then you should, because he tells
And
you
then
about
how
your
dare
opinion,
you
have an opinion.
question me in my opinion when I just question your opinion the entire time. We get it.
Fair enough.
It's your shtick.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have read
And congratulations that you get to have your shtick on the air all the time.
I probably shouldn't have read that. I should have recognized the number. Fair enough. All right. Les says, what I want to hear on January 20th, 2025. Jeff, because that's when I believe the session opens up in Santa Fe. We're going to put Lobo football first, and it's going to happen fast. You've never seen a program turned around so quickly. Should I do it? I'm supposed to do this in the Trump voice. Is that right? And we're going to pay for it by getting rid of so many administrators. The housing values around campus are going to plummet. Okay. Basically wants to fire the whole... He somehow figures if you fire the athletic administration, you're going to have enough money to build the stadium. Because everybody over there is doing nothing. People think that, like, are there a lot of people that work at UNM Athletics? I don't know. You decide what a lot is. Is it relative? Is it not? And people think they all just don't do anything. Like you don't need people to, I don't know, sell, do promotions, do game ops, do student services, do all the things.
There's not a lot of people just sitting around doing nothing.
I promise you. In fact,
in the athletic department. I know. If there was, I'd gladly apply for one of those jobs.
It's unbelievable how, just because you don't know what people do, don't mean they don't do anything. Anyway, Sid says, my number one pet peeve, Mr. Symbieta, Louisville football can't control the Duke's schedule, the State Fair, or APS, but they should be able to control what's going on their own campus for those 6 days a year. Here we go. The new AD needs to go to Popejoy and read them the riot act. This morning, Mr. Alou is interviewing the dude performing there at the same time as Lobo football Saturday night. There should be nothing else going on in the city, JJ, when Lobo football plays. Nothing. It was a big event last night. A lot of people in the city were out at the opening of the new sports book while Lobo basketball was playing. At the same time that the Visit Albuquerque annual meeting was going on. Like, we're a big enough city, Sid. We are. And we can handle more than one event at once. We are. Isn't it amazing when you watch in L.A. and the Dodgers are playing, the Lakers are playing, and then there's like a concert, and then there's a
yeah, you see everyone's just stuck in traffic.
Oh, but there's 10 million people there. I understand. I'm not telling you we should have 15, 20 events, but we can handle more than one event at once. We can. No Trevor Lawrence this weekend. The Jaguars quarterback will miss his second consecutive game. He has a shoulder injury, left shoulder, non-throwing. Mac Jones will get the start against the Lions on Sunday. Does that help you when you're betting a little bit? Lions?
No.
No?
Who are they playing?
They're playing the Lions.
Oh, the Lions. I don't know why I heard the Giants. I apologize.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I think you were probably on the Lions anyway. But
yeah, but the number swells a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So Mac Jones started last Sunday's game against the Vikings. He completed 14 passes out of 22 for 111 yards. Turned the ball over 3 times. Sacked 3 times by the Vikings. They put up 7 points against the Vikings last week. So Mac Jones is your quarterback this week. This just came down. Diego Pavia, remember he sued the NCAA. He wanted a temporary restraining order to add eligibility, claiming that his junior college years should not count against major college eligibility. A federal judge has denied Diego Pavia's request for temporary restraining order that would grant him that eligibility. But the matter's not closed. So Pavia sued the NCAA in federal court Friday in Nashville, arguing that his 2 seasons at junior college should not count towards Division I eligibility. Why? Because he was unable to profit from name, image, and likeness during that time. Was NIL even legal at that point? When he was at Nîmes, I don't think it was. I don't even think that was a deal yet. His attorneys argued that Diego would suffer immediate and irreparable harm without relief from the court because the transfer portal opens December 9, and that waiting even one more day will place him between a rock and a hard place in regards to negotiating an NIL deal at Vanderbilt or transferring to another school. So he might go to a 4th school. Quote, this is William Campbell, the chief judge of the U.S. District Court for the Middle District of Tennessee, in his ruling. Quote, given that plaintiff has almost certainly been aware of the challenged bylaws and his ineligibility to play college football in the 25-26 season for quite some time, and has been discussing possible resolution with the NCAA, the court is not persuaded that an ex parte order is justified. This is particularly the case here, where the plaintiff seeks prospective injunctive relief, not merely preservation of the status quo, end quote. So the judge also wrote that he would set an expedited briefing schedule and hearing on a request for a preliminary injunction, which would give the NCAA an opportunity to defend its own rules. So it's not completely closed. Pavia's attorney told the newspaper in Nashville that Diego was disappointed but not surprised that the judge won't allow the NCAA to defend itself. Shouldn't they be allowed to? So this is not done. Like I told you the other day, JJ, I understand why he's doing it. I just don't see how he's going to win this.
I agree. Like if you open it up and say, all right, NIL should be for everyone, okay, but retroactively now say because you played JUCO, you're going to get extra years. Doesn't seem like something that's going to benefit Diego. If anything, it would be, okay, let's address this moving forward, not all of a sudden look and say, hey, here's thousands of athletes that all of a sudden are going to get an extra 2 years where they're at right now. And then you're looking at, maybe 6, 7 years. If they just have some COVID season, so they're using that, but then they get 2 more years, that would be crazy.
Yeah. All right, when we get back, are you watching Friday night? 58-year-old former world champion back in the ring. We're all watching, aren't we? Mike Tyson's fighting Jake Paul. Some thoughts of what they're saying next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
Sunday on.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Got shots?
Kind of fired up about this, actually. Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Mike Tyson's first professional boxing match in almost 2 decades. He's 58 years old. He wants to be considered the baddest man on the planet. It's opening drive, Jeff Sabieta, JJ Buck. You're watching this, aren't you? Are you going to find like don't?
Well, I'll find a way to watch it.
I mean, this has you, doesn't it?
Well, this is classic. I wouldn't say this is like Gladiator entertainment. This is, you're in it because it's not because you're watching someone that's trying to be a champion or you're seeing the best of, a certain weight class. You're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see this. No, this is just pure entertainment of people punching each other in the face. One of the most dominant fighters that a generation saw in Mike Tyson, and this new era influencer stepping in the ring, doing enough to fool enough people that he's a real boxer, but not fighting really anyone. And yes, this is the pure entertainment you're looking for on a Friday night.
Quote Tyson, I'm bringing the devil himself. There are no feelings attached. My own mother should be very careful if she has to get in the ring with me. When it's over, it's over. But while the process is going on, my intention is to hurt him. I hope he has the same intentions or he's in trouble. It was part of his quote. He's promised to knock out Jake Paul, who's 31 years his junior. Tyson said the ferocity which he will bring to the ring will make him unrecognizable to his younger children. His 16-year-old daughter, Milan, has never seen him fight. Quote, again, Tyson. She saw me on television fight with Roy Jones, but she's never seen anything of this magnitude in her life. My kids don't really think of me as the baddest man on the planet. They look at me as dad and tell me, sit your old ass down. But on November 15th, they will have a different opinion of me, end quote. In some respects, Mike literally is fighting to show his kids who he used to be. And I think to show the world who he used to be. I mean, there's a generation. Like, do you remember Mike Tyson in the ring?
No. Like, when that was going on, I was 5-6 years old.
Mike Tyson was a pit bull. He would get in the ring and knock fools out. It was measured in seconds. What he did to Michael Spinks is ridiculous. Mike Tyson, when he was the heavyweight champion of the world, before Buster Douglas shocked the world, Mike Tyson was the most feared, like literally, a guy that was lifted out of a really bad situation in New York by Cus D'Amato, was trained, was unrefined, was, it's scary to a lot of people, was the baddest man on the planet. And that's kind of what the heavyweight champion of the world used to be. I don't know that 1% of the population could tell you who the heavyweight champion of the world is right now in boxing. Can you? I couldn't tell you. Do you know who it is? I don't either. Has there been, I was having this conversation yesterday with somebody, as far as a public perception transformation, overhaul. I know I've told you in the past, I think Alex Rodriguez is right near the top, right? Is this guy number one? Mike Tyson, first of all, wasn't liked by a lot of people. I think everybody wanted to watch him. Dude went to prison for rape. And now he is just beloved. And I think Hangover kind of put him over the top for a whole generation of people when he was in the Hangover movie. Right? And really helped transform him. But has there been a bigger public perception transformation period in America than him?
In athletics, he's absolutely up there for what he did.
Everybody loves Tyson,
and
right?
Then it's just like Mike Tyson, the face tattoo. Guys can knock you out in 10 seconds.
Everybody loves Mike Tyson, it seems like. A-Rod was reviled. I mean, he was suspended for a year from Major League Baseball. He cheated. He was, just disgusting guy, the JQ thing. But now there
I wouldn't call that disgusting. I would call Mike Tyson disgusting.
Well, the baseball.
Yeah.
The baseball.
Cheated it in baseball.
Okay. Fair enough. Right. Fair enough. Who's else got suspended for a year? Yeah, what Tyson was accused of doing and went to prison for, yeah. Right? But yet here he is, and everybody loves Tyson. I don't know that everybody loves A-Rod, but there he is every Sunday night. He's on your TV, and people seem to, favorable. I don't know that I've ever seen a bigger public perception swing or transformation than Tyson throughout his life. Although, and for those of you who remember those times, there was a big cry when he went to prison. There were still a lot of people who just were on Mike's side. Didn't believe he did it. And then he came out and he beat up, Andrew McNeely, in his first fight back. And then Buster Douglas got him. It was crazy. How do you think this goes? Are you watching? Are you interested? It's almost hard. How are you not? Don't you kind of want to see it? Don't you don't you want to see what this is going to look like? I sure as hell do. Marty, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Marty. Well, let me do that again. Hello, Marty.
Morning there. I don't know. What's Jake Paul's age?
He's 31 years younger than Tyson. So what's 58 minus 31? 27? Yeah.
It's almost kind of like a lose-lose for this guy. I mean, he's going to make a lot of money, I guess. I don't know. I know he's got his prime and all that and his brother. But, if you beat the old guy, right, 50, almost 60-year-old guy, hasn't fought in God knows how long.
Hey, you beat an old man. Good for you.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah, once you fight a real fighter, that's what people are going to say, right?
You're going to go to the old age home now?
Yeah, that's what they've been saying the whole time, and look how much money and popularity he has doing this.
Yeah, and maybe that's where the fight games change, but now it's become more of a WWE thing. I hope not, but I still think there's some great fighters out there. But if you're Mike Tyson and then you beat this guy and they're like, I don't know, how this guy, and if you beat him badly, how do you come back from that and put up another one of these fights? God, dude, we've seen your act. You're not a real fighter. Just cut it out. I'm not paying for you. I'm not doing that to make you rich. So I think it's kind of a lose-lose for this guy. Who knows? Yeah. I mean, he's going to make a lot of money, and it's a win-win for him. But
they both will. Yeah,
from public perception, I don't know. How can you walk away and say, oh, wow, Jake Paul beat Mike Tyson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I beat him. He's darn near senior citizen.
Yeah, you beat an old man. No, I get it. And for Tyson, do you want to see? What if he wins? Do you want to see him again? I mean,
I'll see it. I'll check it out. Just like I'll be watching Bones Jones.
Yeah.
But you know, it's Netflix. So if you have Netflix, I think it's
it's
part
on
of
there.
your package.
It is. All right, man.
So it'll be entertaining. All right.
Thanks. No, we're watching, and then you got John and Miocic this weekend on Saturday. I mean, you got a fight weekend, dude.
Well, and to Marty's point, like, who's gonna watch this? What's it from? This is not like Jake Paul has tried to say, he's a boxer, he's a real dude, he can do this. No, this is just the pure entertainment aspect of it. You're watching, it's like gladiators in an arena. You're not watching this to build it up and say, oh, I can't wait, to see him fight for the belt after this and the technique. No, this is just two dudes that are gonna be smashing the B button, throwing haymakers on a Friday night.
Right. Until one of them wears out. Yeah. And to his point, if Jake Paul wins, I mean, are you going to watch his next fight? So if you watch...
How many fights? I know I haven't watched Jake Paul.
That's what I was going to say. If you watch Jake Paul
you could say that about how many of his other fights, and he still builds up to the next one.
Right.
Still gets the next thing out there.
Yeah.
Still gets the next event.
And I don't know how many fights you've watched of Jake Paul, but I haven't. I haven't watched a bunch of Jake Paul fights. Will I watch him? I'm not sure I will. If none of them really interest me before this, and this is me watching Tyson. I mean, if Tyson was fighting you, I'd watch it this weekend. I mean, I'd feel bad for you. I would.
Not enough money in the world to get me to do that,
right? But you kind of see my point.
Now it would be money that my child would live on, and so maybe I'd do that, but I would die. Like, I would not come out of that ring alive.
Then you always say I could take a couple punches.
No, I've never said that.
No,
especially from a dude like that. No, thank you.
Yeah, it's
like someone that has the intention of I'm ending you, not this is going to be fun. Let me mess around and pop you a couple times.
I'm
no,
ending
thank
you. That's my intention. I am ending you. All right, 505-246-06. I'm curious. Are you watching it? Because it is. I got to find a spot. Friday night, dude. I'm on the road. I forgot. I'm at the border war. All right. I'll find a way to find it. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
This former science.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
As you go through your Wednesday, people are going to be talking about. Lobos were winners last night in the pit. The men beat Texas A&M Corpus Christi. 181 was the number. Donovan Dent, 25 points, 10 assists, and 0 turnovers for the winners. First time in the history of the Lobo program, someone has posted a stat line of 25 points, 10 assists without a turnover. Drew Washington at 15. And Cade Dotson came off the bench, the freshman, with 18 points. Lobo women were on the road in Lubbock. They lose last night, 75-68 to Texas Tech. College football playoff standings are out. Oregon is still number 1. And what else you got to know? Oh, a couple of things out of the NBA last night I thought were interesting. I was just looking at some stuff in the in-season tournament. Golden State and Dallas. Warriors beat the Mavericks 120-117. It was Klay Thompson's return to Golden State last night. And it was not, he had 22 points. He made 6 3-pointers. Pretty good return. Steph Curry was better. He had 37 points, 9 assists, including the last 12 points for the Warriors. Warriors were down by 7 with 4 minutes to go, outscored the Mavs 12-3 to end the game, and they win. Curry had a 3, pushed the lead to 4, and they win. The Warriors have to do a little more work to advance from. It's a pretty deep group. I mean, they got Denver and Memphis in there, along with Dallas and Golden State. Pretty good win, though. And Klay Thompson going back. Great reception in the Bay Area, as it should have been last night.
Yeah, that's one of those that you're okay with. Like, won championships, did a lot there. You can have your moment. You can have your video in your return, Klay Thompson.
Seriously. I mean, how many rings did he win? 4? Is that right? Is it 4? 3, 4, whatever the number is? Yeah. Joel Embiid was back. Was rusty. Knicks 76ers last night. Philly wins. I'm sorry. The Knicks win. Joel Embiid, season debut. Sixers are 2-8 through their first 10 games. At what point is the hole too deep? I guess not yet, because the season's so long and so many teams make the playoffs, or there's the play-in tournament. So
yeah, 10 teams have a shot at
10 out of 15. Yeah. So I it's going to be a while before it's too late. But 2-8, 3-8 for teams like this in Milwaukee, when you're going, man, they got Joel Embiid now. They didn't have Joel Embiid all year up until now. Giannis Antetokounmpo and Dame Lillard, they're 3-8. What's going on? But I guess that's where it is. It's the Emirates NBA Cup. This is the scores last night. Hawks beat the Celtics, which is kind of a surprise, 117-116. Magic beat the Hornets. Pistons over the Heat in overtime. Knicks beat the Sixers. Bucks did win. They beat the Raptors. Suns beat the Jazz. Blazers over the Timberwolves. And the Warriors beat the Mavs. You get more of them tonight. You like the courts? You like all that stuff? It's all there for you.
Yes.
Yeah. I got a little more NFL news for you. Looking for a quarterback this weekend?
Looking for a quarterback.
All right. Colts have benched Joe Flacco. They're going back to Anthony Richardson.
Well, hey, this is one where you thought, give the young man a reset, see if you can find that flash in the pan with Joe Flacco. Not quite the same flash that we saw at the end with Cleveland last year. And, all right, process didn't work. Now it's back to experience for Anthony Richardson.
What do I do with Josh Downs?
He is unplayable now.
He is, right? 2 days ago, Shane Steichen said that Joe Flacco would start this game. They're playing the Jets this weekend. I mean, who's in work? Like, what a mess of two teams going at each other. The Colts and the Jets. Flacco started the last 2 games. They've lost them both. Colts benched Richardson late October. It was after the game at Houston. Remember that game he asked to come out for a play because he was tired? Hadn't played since. I guess he's had some rest. He's had plenty of time to rest. So there you go. Who do you like in that game? Jets, right? As much as I sat here and said, God, the Jets are a mess, it's at home. Jets are a 4-point favorite over the Colts. Weren't the Jets favored this weekend?
Yeah, they were favored over the Cardinals.
And the Cardinals beat them 31-6.
Yes.
And that was, I'm sorry, with all due respect, as we did the 3-fall, that was like my first, just jumped off the page to me. Was that just lack of respect for the Cardinals? Or people just like, wow, the Jets are going to break out one day.
Well, that's like they don't do those lines by feel. I'm sure that some of it is where can you get the money to come in and win for the book, but it's set by the odds maker.
Chiefs at Buffalo. What do you think the number is? Chiefs at Buffalo is the game this week.
Buffalo 2.5 points.
Buffalo by 2. That's good. Niners home versus Seahawks. 6.5. Broncos are favored at home this weekend. They have a division leader coming in to see them in the Falcons.
Bo Nix.
Dude. Broncos, if they win this weekend, they're on path to a playoff team. They are. Steelers and Ravens is phenomenal in the early window. Baltimore's a 3-point favorite on the road at Pittsburgh. Phenomenal game this weekend. What do you think the Rams are at New England? What do you think that spread is? Coming off what we just saw.
Rams 3.5.
5.
5.
Yeah, it feels thick. It does. If you're looking for your big number, Jaguars with Mac Jones at quarterback, they're getting 13.5 points at the Lions. The Lions are one of those teams who do beat the hell out of teams. There's not a lot of teams where you say, yeah, they're going to go run one up or they're going to go win by 20 or 30 in the NFL. The Lions would be that one team, right?
Yes,
They're
they do that.
Still running trick plays up by 20 points in the fourth quarter. Trying to get Penei Sewell a touchdown. An offensive lineman. So, yeah, they do have that. All right, you get hoops tonight. You get the NBA in-season tournament, Memphis and the Lakers. What else? New Orleans, Oklahoma City's interesting.
No, in-tournament days are only Tuesday.
Oh, that's not today? That's not in tournament? Oh, that's Friday. That's right. They played that Friday. Cleveland, Philly interests me as well. Cleveland still has not lost. Cleveland is still undefeated, the only undefeated team left in the NBA.
Team LeBron James used to play for.
Remember them? Remember when he was there? LeBron who? Maybe that's where Bronny can go, and then, no, that doesn't make sense. Or does it? Or does it? All right, what else I got to look forward to today? That's kind of. I get action tonight. I get 3 games in the MAC. Akron, NIU. NIU is the team that beat Notre Dame. You know what their record is? The team that beat Notre Dame. 5-4. Any given Saturday. Lobo fan. Lobo fan. You're saying there's a chance?
You need to build this one up, man. You got Coos coming in, and they're one of the reasons that the Mountain West is blowing itself up. Are they really a top 20 team? See what you can do.
Great opportunity. Hey, tomorrow, Jerry Palm's going to be with us from CBS Sports. That's at 8:30. Richard Pitino will join us at 9 o'clock. We'll talk global basketball. Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowards after that. 2 Men On comes in at 4, and then we're back with award-winning radio. Tomorrow morning we'll start at 7 a.m. Adrian, great work. Always looks great on the TV side. Big day for you. You get a nap?
Huge day.
Enjoy that. Hey, be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Everguard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Everguard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.